Hello everyone, today we're going to be taking a look at more examples on proportions. The first concept that we want to get over with today is testing for proportions, right? So testing for proportions and how it's done. Now, let's think about the two numbers 4 over 6 and 10 over 14. Do they form a proportion? Let's go ahead and see. So is 4 over 6 technically equal to 10 over 14? Well, if I cross multiply these two, right, 4 times 14, it should be equal to 6 times 10, because if it is indeed a proportion, their cross products are always going to be the same, right? In fact, that's a tip that you can use for solving these proportions. So in a proportion, you can write down, in a proportion, the cross products are always the same, or always equal, right? And if they're not equal, then the ratios do not form a proportion. So 4 times 14 is obviously going to be 56, and 6 times 10 is 60. As you can see, they're not equal. So these two numbers, or these two fractions or ratios, do not form a proportion. That's it. It's pretty simple. Now let's take a look at another one. For example, B, you have something like 6 over 9 and 4 over 6, right? Do these two numbers form a proportion? Let's see. Once again, we do the test, right? We just have to cross multiply them and see if they're equal to each other. So we have 6 times 6. Is this equal to 4 times 9? And 4 times 9 is obviously, 6 times 6 is 36, right? 4 times 9 is 36 as well. So they do indeed form a proportion, because the product of their cross, if you cross multiply them, their cross products are going to be equal to each other, which means that they do indeed form a proportion. Let's do another example. For example, C, let's do 7 over 12 and 17.5 over 30. Do these form a proportion? Once again, cross multiply them to see whether their cross products are the same. 7 times 30 is equal to 12 times 17.5. All right, so let me write it. So 7 times 30 is obviously essentially 210, and then 12 times 7.5, you can put it in the calculator, it's going to be also 210. So initially you might think, oh, that's a decimal, there's no way they're going to be equal to each other. But once you multiply them, you'll see that they're actually equal to each other. So once again, they do indeed form a proportion. Now, from the topic before about solving proportions, I'd like to do one question about that as well. So C, take a look at this one. 3 over 6, for example, is equal to 7 over D. So now that you guys are familiar with the product, the cross product method, I'm just going to do that one. You just have to cross multiply them. You get 3 times D is equal to 7 times 6. So you get 3D is equal to 7 times 6 is going to be equal to 42. So you just divide this side by 3, which means that you should do the same thing to the other. They cancel out, and D is equal to 42 divided by 3, which is 14. There you go. Which is indeed the correct answer. And you can even go ahead and check it again. So you can put it back. You got 3 over 6 is equal to 7 divided by 14. This one is divisible by 3, this fraction. The other ratio is also divisible by 7. So you will get 1 over 2 is equal to 7 over 14. Obviously, it's just half, but I did it so that you guys understand what I mean, is 1 over 2. So as you can see, both sides are equal to each other, which does indeed mean that your answer is 14. Thank you for watching.